Hello, my name is Tyler Gillies and I'm the owner of Dandelion Bikes here in Seattle. Making this video at home, you can probably see a chicken behind me, so please try to ignore it. This is my first video of what I hope to be many about our customers. These great people who buy bikes from us and then use them in all sorts of fun and unique ways around Seattle and beyond. For this first video, we met up with Molly Laurie down in Eastlake. Molly loves to ride e-bikes. She put about 5,500 miles on her Riese Müller Delite in the last 10 months, and she also owns a Riese Müller Tinker. So we met Molly down at Cafe Armistice down in Eastlake, had a quick cup of coffee, and then went on a bike ride together around Eastlake close to the water. Now, it's the first time that I've been down there in many years. I'm embarrassed to say. It is so pretty down there. There's lots of great riding. You can see houseboats, and there's some parks down there that are really quiet and a nice place to spend a sunny day. This was my first video, and I did not know what I was doing with the sound, so I only was able to record one microphone on Molly, and it's a little distorted at that, so you'll have to forgive me there. But I asked Molly a few questions about how she uses her bike and the kind of riding she likes to do. So let's see what Molly had to say.
First of all, I'm obsessed with this bike and this brand. So I have this Delite, and then I also have a Tinker that I use to ride to work. And I consider this my exercise bike and bike for exploring a little bit more. I'll take it on longer rides, or knowing if it's raining or different weather conditions, I'll take this one versus a Tinker is my commuter bike. I think I've put on 5,000, maybe 500 miles so far, maybe more in a year. Right on. I just get on it. It's like the day is not complete unless I get in a ride. Yeah, I like to explore new neighborhoods or places maybe I haven't been. For example, behind the UW Stadium, there's a really beautiful neighborhood back there with lots of hills. And I can do that without fear, because I just put it in turbo if I need to. Or going over to West Seattle along the Marine View Drive there, lots of hills as well, but I can just explore for forever. If we have a bike rack, so we put the two Riese Müllers, the two bigger bikes on there, and we'll take it to bike trails, Eastern Washington, for example. And we're going to go to Portland with both bikes just to ride another city. Yeah. So it's so much fun to explore another city on these bikes. Once you sort of find the shortcuts to things, you can get to certain parks or coffee shops, the back roads. Yeah. That's how I love figuring out a new route. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I completely agree with Molly. I love riding around Seattle neighborhoods and exploring them on an e-bike. Molly's big bike there is the Riese Müller Delite, one of our very favorites at the shop. What makes the Delite so special is that it's a full suspension bike. Both the front and rear wheels have a shock, which means that the bike remains in contact with the road when it gets bumpy. And that means that you always have traction. Full suspension in bikes is kind of reserved for mountain bikes, but every motorcycle is a full suspension motorcycle, and every car has a fully suspended frame. And it would just make sense that if you were designing an e-bike for high speed and safety, you would use a full suspension design. And that's where the Delite just excels. Molly's Delite is a GT Rohloff high-speed model. High speed means that it's a class 3 bike. It will assist up to 28 miles an hour. Roll-off means that the bike is configured with the roll-off hub and a Gates belt instead of the more traditional, at least in the US, derailleur and chain system. Now, the roll-off is our favorite. also happens to be the most expensive, but it really does mean minimal maintenance on a daily and weekly basis. The belt is dry, it does not have to be lubricated, and all of the gears are inside the hub, and the hub shifts with an electronic shifter. So we're talking minimal maintenance. We're talking you drain the oil out of the hub every few thousand miles and add some fresh oil, and you get a new belt every 5,000 to 6,000 miles. That's it. So when Molly goes out and rides every day after work, she doesn't need to worry about a squeaky chain or that the bike might not be shifting into third gear or any of those somewhat regular bike problems that most of us remember and know well. Instead, you just get something that you can hop on and go. And that is the reason to get the Rohloff, especially when you're a high mileage customer like Molly is. Like riding 5,000 or 6,000 miles on a chain and derailleur system would have meant quite a few more trips to the bike shop and certainly a lot more fiddling and cleaning of her drivetrain. We have a 2021 Delite GT Rohloff high-speed demo bike at the shop available for test ride, and we also try to keep this model in stock as it is one of our favorites. So please come down and give it a test ride and see why this is such an amazing bike. Happy riding out there.